Welcome to Shop Talk here at RollerRodz. Today we're in our service center. We also own Dentcraft and have a service center here in Santa Rosa, California, right in the thick of hot rod country. A lot of PDR techs wonder, can you do these old cars? And the answer is yes. We do a ton of them here, but there are a lot of issues that go along with working on some of this old stuff. You can see here today we got a 69 Camaro here that we just took a bunch of dents out of yesterday, and you really got to be very careful when you work on these older vintage cars. There's a lot of issues that go along with doing this type of service work. Can it be done? You bet. It can be done, and we do them all the time. But I will say it's a high risk type of a situation. When you're dealing with these old cars, it's a pretty good assumption that, you know, you get a 69 Camaro like this, it's been painted and repainted 2 or 3 times perhaps over the years. There's a high risk and probability of these panels having filler in them, you know, Bondo, polyester glazing putty, multiple coats of primers, and you're dealing with a very thick layer of material there. Very prone to cracking. So there are several things you want to do whenever you're dealing with these types of cars. And there's a liability issue to you as an operator owner. And one of the first things that you want to do is prepare your customer correctly. Very key to pulling off a good repair on an old vintage or classic hot rod. You need to tell your customer about the risks involved here. You need to explain to them that if the paint cracks during this repair, that you will not be responsible for that. Now, there are several things you can do to keep that from happening, and one of the key things with these old hot rods is heat. Heat is your friend when you're working on this old vintage stuff. Get your heat gun out, heat the area up that you're working, and heat it up a lot and keep it warm during the repair procedure. And that'll really help to keep the paint from cracking. That heat adds in a lot of flexibility. Get that paint warm, get that panel warm, and it'll really help those paints and primers and whatever else is under there to have more flexibility during the repair. Key. It's a big deal when you're working on this old stuff with these high, thick mill thicknesses of buildup of material that you're dealing with here. Another key thing that you want to do as a technician during that repair is use softer, blunter tips. You don't want to go in there with a really sharp steel tip and start pushing on this stuff. You'll crack these paints, boom, just like that. Next thing you know, now all of a sudden you're in a situation you don't want to be in. So, real key during the repair procedure to approach this thing using soft, blunt tips, lots of heat, and that can definitely help you pull off a good repair. Again, it's really key to talk to your customer in these terms and explain to them that the paint could crack during the repair. If so, you're not responsible, and just prepare them for that, so that I always like to prepare for the worst and hopefully deliver the best. So I always like to prepare my customers that way, especially on this older vintage stuff. So definitely some things to consider there. Can they be done? I do them all the time. We're here in Santa Rosa, California, where this service center is, and we're in the heart of Hot Rod Central, heart of wine country. This place is loaded with hot rods. All my buddies drive them, and they're constantly coming in here wanting me to do these types of repairs. A lot of these guys got these very expensive, high-end paint jobs, flames, graphics, all kinds of stuff. So when you do pull off a repair on their car, these guys are happy, really happy, because for a lot of these cars, these nice paint jobs they got are big issues. So they're very satisfying repairs. You can do a repair, and if you do it right and you do it well, you can get paid also really well on this stuff. Because if you can't pull it off, they're headed back down to the paint shop where they're looking at some very expensive repairs here. So you can really get paid well to do these kinds of repairs. You know, it's very important that when you prepare your customer for this type of repair, mentally you need to have them in a good spot. You need to explain to them that, you know, you're looking at a repair here that we can get out to, you know, talk to them in terms of percentages, talk to them about the issues of the paint cracking, and just make sure that they're on board with that. So if you do fail and are not able to pull off the repair, and you do, you know, crack the paint, get into this situation, you want to make sure that they're prepared for that, that they're not going to be angry or upset with you, and because you explained all this up front, that this is a, you know, a liability, a probable issue, and you always want to be the hero, not the zero. So as long as you prep them correctly and let them know that, hey, we could end up busting the paint here. If that happens, you're going down to the paint shop, and their response is always the same. They always say, oh, no problem, because if you bust a, even if you don't bust the paint, if you can't fix it, I'm going to the body shop anyway. So just got to really make sure you set that situation up as a win-win for everybody involved. So I want to thank you guys for joining us here at Shop Talk. We'll see you soon.